Next topic. Tritium Talk, Templating 101, March 14, 2019, JJ the Boss presents, Tritium Talk, Templating 101, the Niagara 4 Chicas and BACnet Lowrider remix, wiring gone wild. Buckle up in the compressed air supercharger Impala, where every component's seat matters, like BACnet addressing, shotgun, Leagy, the PLC brain like a Rockwell control logics, she's calling the shots. MCBs? Top or bottom? Check the manual, fools ain't no guessin' in this ride. Back left, Miriam McKay, the relays and contactors, she's the BACnet MS/TP backbone, smooth, reliable, but cross her wires. Off with your signal. Back right, Sky B, the terminal blocks the tritium JACE of the squad. Organizing chaos like a Wago double-decker terminal block. Messy labels. Not in my panel. Trunk, Tweedle twins, Lady Z and Sandra Z, the MCBs and fuses, these two bicker like 24V versus 120V circuits, but they protect the whole system. You overload. We trip. Period. Templating 101 breakdown, airbagged suspension style. What's a template? A deployable package, playa. Like a supercharger kit for your JACE, drop it in and vroom, your RTU's running smooth. .ntpl file. Just a zipped up tune-up for your Niagara station. Peek inside. Rename it to .zip. Leagy approves. Pre-work, plan like PID proportional, P whatcha templating. Device. Station. Component. Integral, I tag it right. Analytics hungry for metadata. Derivative, D design PX pages first or your UI's wobblin' like bad gain. Tools of the trade template palette, your parts bin, drag, drop, deploy. Dev mode, discover a device. Miriam McKay auto matches templates like a BACnet BBMD. Templating service, update 20 RTUs with one click. Sky B nods like air suspension leveling a fleet. Live demo, RTU template in action. Right click RTU, rightward arrow, make template bundlin' points, PX pages, even that slick OEM graphic. Tweedle twins guard the zip file. Deploy with dev mode, discover BACnet device, rightward arrow, Leagy slaps the template on it, rightward arrow, bam. RTUs live. IO binding? Need building power? Here's a target slot hint, no guesswork. Pro tips from JJ, label with tape first, final brother labels come later. Like tuning PID, test before commit. Modules. Read only, playa. Use M for shipping, not editing. Spreadsheet deploy. Sky B drops 10 RTUs at once, efficiency over chaos. QA chaos round, can I edit templates in Dropbox? Trick question. Remap your user store. Leagy prefers network drives. Schedule binding broken. Bug in 4.7. Tweedle twins jury-rig a control point till the patch drops. Final word, templates are your lowrider blueprints. Build once, deploy everywhere. Miss a step? The Queen of Hearts, NFPA 79, will have your head. Mic drop. Panel door slams. JJ the Boss and the Niagara 4 Chicas buckle up, we're riding through Wonderland's wacky wiring woods. Alice's Adventures in Template Land, also known as Why is a.ntpl like a teacup. Told by JJ the Boss and the Niagara 4 Chicas. Chapter 1, down the tritium hole. One sunny day, Alice was playing with her toy control panel when her PLC teddy bear short-circuited. Kapoof. A smoky BACnet spiral swirled around her, and she zoomed down a wire tunnel straight into Template Land, where nothing made sense and everything came with a license key. Chapter 2, The White Rabbit and the Templating Tea. Alice saw a white rabbit frantically tapping on his JACE. I'm late. I'm late. I forgot to deploy my template palette, he cried, dropping an .ntpl file shaped like a sandwich. Alice blinked. What's a template? She asked. A pre-made BACnet banana sandwich for your station, he squeaked. Just then boom, a giant Impala lowrider dropped from the clouds, blasting compressed air from the fenders. Get in, child, roared JJ the boss, wearing a flamingo wrench crown. Time for some tritium madness. Chapter 3, Riding the compressed air supercharger Impala. Alice climbed aboard, where every seat was a component in a magic panel. Shotgun, Leah G, the PLC Queen templates go on top, not the bottom. Read the manual or lose your metadata. Back left, Miriam McKay, relay ruler. I connect power smoother than a dormouse snap. Cross me? I trip like a breaker. Back right, Sky B, terminal block tamer. Every wire in its lane. No messy labels in my kingdom. Trunk, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, the fuse furies you overload. Boom, we fight. You mislabel? Off with your output. Chapter 4, The Queen's templating rules. They zoom to a palace shaped like a tritium logo. Inside, the Queen of Hearts was shouting, no templating without tags. Off with your .ntpl. Alice looked around. Wires tangled like spaghetti. The Cheshire Cat grinned from a DIN rail. Deploy 1, fix 20, he purred. Templates are magic spells. Chapter 5, Templating 101 for Tiny Wonderlanders. JJ the boss taught Alice the rules. What's a template? It's like a lunchbox full of points, PX pages, and snack-sized metadata. Make it clean. Label first, with tape, test your UI, like tasting soup, don't forget your tags or the caterpillar gets cranky. Tools of the trade. Template palette equals magic toolbox. Deb mode equals Wonderland discovery goggles. Templating service equals push this and zap. You got a working RTU. Chapter 6, Template mayhem. In the trial room, the Knave of Hearts was accused of making a janky template with broken bindings. The leg of mutton was the witness. I saw it happen, Your Majesty. No PX page. No metadata. Just vibes. The mock turtle sobbed in XML. The Queen roared, where are the tags? Alice raised her hand. Can't we just use the spreadsheet deployer? Everyone gasped. Brilliant, said Sky B. That child's got real control logic. Chapter 7, Tidying the panel. They all jumped back in the Impala. JJ pressed the deploy to all RTUs button. Boom, templates zipped to devices. Zing, PX pages sparkled. Zap, labels printed themselves. Even the Red Queen and White Queen high-fived. Final chapter, home with a template. Alice woke up in her room. But on her desk sat a shiny USB key, labeled Template Land, v1.0. Her teddy bear blinked and said, next time, try a PID loop. And from her closet, she heard a whisper. Why is a.ntpl like a teacup? Alice smiled. The end, but the BACnet never ends. Want it in storybook pages, coloring sheets, or turned into a tritium-themed bedtime lullaby? Say the word and we'll template that too. Next topic. How should I price out jobs? 5 different methods you can use to estimate a job. JJ the Boss presents, How to Commission BACnet like a Pricing Pro, Wires Crossed, Devices Found, and Profits Bound. Ride in the compressed air supercharger Impala, where BACnet discovery, like pricing, hits smoother when your loop's tuned right. In this lowrider, every crew member's pricing hustle matches a BACnet commissioning style. Let's see who's in what seat and how their attitude teaches you how to handle BACnet systems like a boss. Shotgun, Leah G, the time and material method equals discovery mode hustle troubleshooting a BACnet MSTP network. That's time and material work, baby. BACnet lesson, Leah's like that moment you plug your laptop into the MSTP trunk and pray something responds. No templates. No points mapped. Pure chaos. If your device got no labels, you better charge by the hour cause you're playing hide and seek with sensors. Pro move, Use Wireshark or a capture tool to snip the traffic and build your map like you're charging $200/hour. Back left, Miriam McKay, cost plus equals device integration queen new JACE with known points. Time to profit like you own the bus. BACnet lesson, she's like a properly tagged BACnet device where all objects are pre-named and neat. You know your inputs. You know your outputs. Do your discovery, import those points, then slap on logic and PX graphics like you just added 30% profit. Pro move, don't forget your overhead like driver licensing, BBMD setups, and weekly backups. That's the forgot the permit tax. Back right, Sky B, square foot equals cookie cutter commissioning 50-unit apartment complex? You ain't naming every sensor manually. BACnet lesson, Sky teaches templated commissioning. She rolls out one RTU, then uses Niagara's templating tools to clone the rest. Like square foot pricing, build it once, apply it everywhere. Fast, clean, and scalable. Pro move, build a golden device, make a template, and deploy with dev mode like you're stamping $25 per square foot onto every RTU. Trunk, Tweedle Twins, Lady Z and Sandra Z, task pricing equals point mapping geniuses. You want evob mapped? That's $200. Reset a PID? That's $150. GFCI. We charge extra if you Googled it first. BACnet lesson, task-based commissioning is perfect for small service calls, mapping a sensor. One price. Adjusting a set point. Another. Watching a tech argue with a loop. Priceless. Pro move, keep a task sheet of common jobs, device rebinding, alarming, schedule setup, then automate the estimate using Niagara's BQL or export tools. Tritium boss move, software-based equals scalable command center. Got 100 sites and 5 techs? You better not be doing this by hand. BACnet lesson, run a supervisor station, Niagara supervisor or centralized JACE, with automated deployment scripts. You're managing devices like dispatchers manage job tickets in FieldPulse. Pro move, use station copier, batch templates, or third-party provisioning tools to mass configure devices, then sit back and watch the BACnet devices register themselves like well-paid apprentices. BACnet commissioning equals business strategy, just like electrical pricing, trip charge equals hourly connect fee. Minimum charge equals basic device discovery plus mapping. Charge more equals if you're fighting rogue MS/TP devices or unlabeled points, you deserve hazard pay. Final boss advice from JJ Da Boss: BACnet commissioning is like pricing, do it sloppy and it costs you. Tune your tools, know your value, and label everything. Or the Queen of Hearts, aka QA Inspector, will yell, "Off with your license." Mic drop. MSTP token vanishes. Panel door slams. Time and material, think of this as raw discovery mode. It's like when you're dealing with unknown devices and messy panels, you're charging for the time and materials as you figure things out on the fly. Cost plus, this is like having tagged devices. It's great for new builds or planned integrations where you know what you're working with, and you just add a markup to the cost. Square foot, imagine this as templated commissioning. It's perfect for multi-unit sites or cookie cutter layouts where you can apply a standard rate per square foot. Task pricing, this is for one-off mappings and quick tweaks. Think service calls or sensor swaps, you charge per task, which keeps things simple and straightforward. Software-based, picture this as supervisor-driven mass commissioning. It's ideal for large campuses or multi-tech workflows where software helps drive the commissioning process efficiently. Each pricing style has its own best fit scenario, making it easier to match the approach to the job at hand. Let me know if you want this turned into a BACnet bootcamp coloring book, a comic strip, or a Tritium pop quiz with this crew. We can even wire this into a lowrider themed training module. Alice's adventures in BACnet land, where commissioning systems gets curiouser and curiouser, and everyone's mad about margins. Alice jumps in the White Rabbit's wonder-wired lowrider one day. Alice followed a white rabbit wearing safety goggles and holding a BACnet commissioning laptop. He zoomed down a duct, shouting, "I'm late for a very important job estimate." Boom. Alice lands in a talking Impala called the compressed air supercharger, where pricing BACnet jobs is as bonkers as the Queen's croquet match. White Rabbit, time and material method, equals discovery panic. Troubleshooting. Oh dear. No labels. No maps. Sensors hiding like Cheshire cats. BACnet lesson, White Rabbit charges by the hour because everything is chaos. It's like when Alice tried to figure out if she was a snake after growing 12 feet tall. Wonder tip, always bring wire shark. NT. Maybe both. The Queen of Hearts, cost plus pricing, equals boss lady of labeled points off with their heads if they don't mark up materials 30%. BACnet lesson, she's got all her BACnet points neatly labeled, probably with heart stickers, and she charges for every little thing like a permit, or yelling at the executioner. Wonder tip, add your profit margin, your emotional stress tax, and pepper, because she loves spicy spreadsheets. The Caterpillar, square foot pricing, equals template toker or building 4, blows a smoke ring in the shape of an RTU BACnet lesson. The Caterpillar does one setup, then clones it across the whole building. Like stamping "Eat Me" on cookies. Wonder tip, $25 per square foot. More if your building has a Jabberwock in the attic. Cheshire cat, task pricing, equals point mapping with a grin. You want one sensor mapped? That's $200. You want logic? That's extra. Want me to disappear? That's free. BACnet lesson, grin and charge. He's got a price sheet in his tail, and if you ask too many questions, he vanishes into the cloud network. Wonder tip, charge for resetting loops especially if they Googled it first. Tweedledee and Tweedledum, menu pricing, equals the trunk terrors. If the client says, it's just a thermostat, we triple the price for rudeness. BACnet lesson, they're task pricing twins doing one-off jobs like fan mapping, PID resets, and throwing tea parties in the JACE. Wonder tip, keep a task list, and a cupcake for emergency SAS. The Mad Hatter, software-based pricing, equals scalable schedule slayer. It's always time to automate. Look at my broken watch, it's synced with Niagara. BACnet lesson, the Mad Hatter runs everything from a central supervisor station. He automates job quotes and tea delivery with Field Pulse. Wonder tip, trust your gut if the system says $1,500 and your brain screams $3,000. And never drink tea from a thermostat. The Knave of Hearts, the field tech who stole the device list. I didn't forget to map that VOV. I was framed. BACnet lesson, always double check the field work. Even the cards might be painting the points red. Time and material, imagine the White Rabbit in panic mode. This pricing style is like dealing with messy sites and unknown points. You're charging as you go, figuring things out on the fly. Cost plus, think of the Queen of Hearts. This approach is great for organized projects with known inputs. You know what you're working with, so you just add a markup to the cost. Square foot, picture the Caterpillar cloning itself. This is perfect for multi-unit templates where you can apply a standard rate per square foot. It's all about consistency and simplicity. Task pricing, imagine the Cheshire cat playing tricks. This is for small fixes and quick tasks. You charge per task, making it straightforward and easy to manage. Software-based, think of the Mad Hatter's tea time automation. This is ideal for large jobs and multi-tech environments where software helps streamline the commissioning process. Each pricing style has its own unique metaphor in this Wonderland theme, making it easier to understand and apply to different project scenarios. Final words from the Queen of Hearts label everything. Or off with your heads. Thunder cracks. A Jabberwock reboots a controller. Alice sighs and sips drink me punch. Would you like me to turn this into a storybook layout, interactive comic, or even a BACnet themed board game with flamingo tools and sensor cards? Let's go full Wonderland on this. Next topic. BAM TV, Episode 1, What is a Building Automation System? Intro, Cue the chaos. JJ the boss revs the engine of the Impala, which is inexplicably parked inside a server room. The Tweedle twins, Tweedle Lady Z and Tweedle Sandra Z, are arguing over a BACnet router in the backseat while Leah G, Miriam McKay, and Sky B attempt to debug a rogue thermostat from the trunk. JJ the boss, alright, fam. Welcome to BAM TV Episode 1, where we take building automation and drop it into a compressed air supercharger of knowledge. Today's question, what the heck is a BAS? And why does it matter more than the last slice of pizza at a tech conference? The Impala suspension bounces as Niagara 4, the ultimate framework by Tritium, materializes on a holographic dashboard. The bass layers, Impala style the server, aka JJ's DJ booth, this is where the magic happens. Your bass server is like the sound system in the Impala. It holds all the beats, data, mixes the tracks, alarms/trends, and makes sure the bass, controls, doesn't drop out. Without it, you're just sitting in a parked car with no music. Sad. The network, aka the Impala's nervous system, BACnet, Building Automation and Control Networks, is the wiring harness under the hood. If BACnet were a person, it'd be that one friend who never shuts up but somehow keeps everyone connected. Pro tip, if your network fails, it's like disconnecting the spark plugs mid-drag race. Chaos level, 11. The supervisory device, aka the Tweedle twins control panel, Tweedle Lady Z and Tweedle Sandra Z represent Niagara 4, the brains of the operation. They take raw data from the field, like Leah G's sensor readings, and translate it into something humans, and machines, understand. Think of them as the translators at a chaotic family reunion where Uncle Pneumatics only speaks in hisses. The field controllers, aka the chicas in the trunk, Leah G equals temperature sensor, always keeping things cool. Miriam McKay equals damper actuator, swinging open opportunities. Sky B equals compressed air supercharger, because speed matters. These are the muscle, the ones doing the real work while the server gets all the credit. Why this all matters, aka the airbagged suspension analogy, a BAS without proper alarm/trends is like an Impala with no suspension. You feel every bump, and eventually, something breaks. Niagara 4 is the airbag system. When things go wrong, it cushions the blow, and keeps you from face planting into a server rack. BACnet is the fuel line. Mess it up, and the whole ride stops. Suddenly, the Impala's horn blares. Never gonna give you up in binary. The Tweedle twins panic as a rogue setpoint tries to override the system. Final thoughts, and a dash of humor. Bass myth number 1, you don't need a server, just put everything in a broom closet. JJ's response, sure, and let's replace the Impala's engine with a hamster wheel. Bass myth number 2, wireless solves everything. JJ's response, tell that to Sky B when the supercharger lags because Wi-Fi dropped. Next episode, we'll explain why BACnet MS/TP is like a conga line at a tech conference, slow, awkward, but somehow still moving. JJ hits the NOS button, the Impala vanishes in a cloud of Ethernet cables, and the credits roll over a trending graph of chaos. Outro, stay tuned, stay automated, and never let your setpoints drift into the unknown. Cut to black. The sound of a valve damper slamming shut echoes in the distance. End scene. P.S. If you didn't laugh, your bass probably runs on pneumatics. Upgrade now. Alice's Bass Adventures in Wonderland, Episode 1, What is a bass, anyway? Once upon a boingy springy afternoon, Alice didn't fall down a rabbit hole, nope, This time she slid sideways through a digital duct, right into a bouncing airbagged Impala parked smack in the middle of the Mad Hatter server room. "Zoom zoom," shouted JJ the boss, who wasn't wearing a hat, just a crown of Ethernet cables and a tie made of BACnet routers. "Welcome to Wonderland's BAST party," he roared. "What's a BAS? Glad you didn't ask, 'cause I'm gonna tell ya anyway." Suddenly, the Impala's dashboard poof turned into a glowing Niagara 4 control screen. The buttons were shaped like playing cards, mushrooms, and teacups. The bass layers, Wonderland style. The server equals the Queen of Hearts DJ booth loud. Bossy. Absolutely essential. Off with their connections, she screams if her alarms don't trend properly. The server runs the party, stores all the jams, aka your data, and won't let you skip a beat. The network equals the White Rabbit's pocket watch TikTok. TikTok. The network's always in a hurry, just like the White Rabbit, zipping through tunnels and wires. "If I'm late, the set points break," he yells, clutching a BACnet cable. The supervisory device equals the Tweedle twins Tea Kettle. Tweedle Sandra and Tweedle Z, who argue louder than a boiler alarm, are the Niagara 4 twins. They sip data tea, crunch sensor scones, and shout over each other about who overrides the setpoint first. The field controllers equals the Mad Chicas in the trunk. Leah G the caterpillar, chill as a fan coil, always measuring temps and muttering, "Who are you?" Miriam McKay the March hare, bouncing around opening dampers like spring-loaded surprises. Sky B the Jabberwock, nobody really understands her, but when the compressed air blows, she roars. Why it matters, aka croquet with flamingos, without alarms and trends. You're playing Queen of Hearts croquet with a sleeping flamingo. Nothing hits right. Niagara 4 equals the airbagged suspension. BACnet equals the flamingo neck. JJ the boss equals your ride stops when the queen loses her flamingo. That's science, baby. Suddenly honk. The Impala toots never gonna give you up in Morse code. The Dormouse falls asleep on a rogue thermostat, the Mock Turtle cries over trending graphs, and the King of Hearts prints out 47 pages of fault alarms he doesn't understand. Myths from the Red Queen's mouth. Myth 1, just toss the server in a broom closet. JJ says, why not just power your chiller with a guinea pig in a hamster wheel while you're at it? Myth 2, Wi-Fi fixes everything. JJ shouts, ha. Tell that to the Red Queen when the croquet match lags. Next time in Wonderland. Why BACnet MS/TP is like the Dodo's caucus race, nobody knows where it starts. Nobody knows when it ends. But somehow, it still works. Outro. Stay curious. Stay chaotic. And never let your setpoints wander off with the Knave of Hearts. The Impala blasts through a wall of painted roses and Ethernet cable spaghetti. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat plays as a damper slams shut somewhere behind the Cheshire Cat's invisible grin. The end. Or is it? If you didn't laugh, your BAS is probably still pneumatic. Go feed it a drink me potion and pray. Would you like episode 2, the Jabberwocky of BACnet MS/TP next? Let me know if you want it reformatted into a training doc, storybook, comic script, or something else. 2.1 Absolutely. Let's jump straight into episode 2 of Alice's Bass Adventures in Wonderland. This time, we dive deep into BACnet MS/TP, and it's as twisted as a Jabberwock's wiring harness. Here comes episode 2, the Jabberwocky of BACnet MS/TP, told Wonderland style. Alice's Bass Adventures in Wonderland episode 2, the Jabberwocky of BACnet MS/TP. Opening chaos. Cue the fog machine. Alice blinked twice. 1 second, she was sipping tea with the Mad Hatter, the next boom. She's flying on a data cable zipline across the sky, landing face first into a pile of twisted RS-485 wiring. Mad Hatter yells, welcome, welcome. Time to meet the Jabberwock of BACnet MS/TP. he's Lupa, he's laggy, and his baud rate bites. Alice wiped a Cat5 cable off her shoe and squinted at the giant blinking creature with antennas for ears and a token ringtail. Who is the Jabberwock? The Jabberwock of BACnet MS/TP isn't a beast you fight with a sword, it's a network protocol that talks very slowly. MS/TP stands for Master, Slave/Token Passing, but in Wonderland? Mad Hatter translation, it's like a tea party conga line where only one guest can speak at a time, if they hold the magic talking teacup. The Jabberwock slithered around with a flashing LED eye and muttered, "Frame errors, parity, jitter." How MS/TP works in Wonderland: imagine the March Hare, Caterpillar, Cheshire Cat, and Queen of Hearts are all sitting at a round table. But they can only speak one at a time. Whoever holds the magic token teacup gets to talk. When done, they pass the token to the next guest. If the token gets lost or dropped in the soup, everyone just stares at each other awkwardly until a talking dormouse resets the tea party. The dormouse is in charge of detecting silent guests. MS/TP troubles in Wonderland: wires too long? The Tweedle twins scream, the Jabberwock tripped over the Cat6 again. Too many talkers? The Mock Turtle sobs, I had data to say, but the Queen hogged the token. Wrong baud rate? Now it's a Jabberwock rave, strobe lights flash, nobody understands each other, and BACnet object stands out of sync. How to calm the Jabberwocky Mad Hatter's top tips: use repeaters wisely, or the Jabberwock grows extra tails. Match baud rates, or you'll hear nothing but riddles. Limit the party size: too many guests and someone always spills the token in the jam. Pro tip from the Caterpillar: blowing smoke rings that look like question marks always know who the master is, and what they're controlling. Otherwise, the data disappears into a hookah cloud. Common MS/TP myths debunked. Myth 1, just plug it all in and it'll work. JJ the boss, sure, and I'll build a VOB box out of jelly beans while I'm at it. Myth 2, the token always finds its way. Queen of Hearts, off with its address. Outro, through the Jabberport as Alice climbs aboard the token train, she waves goodbye to the Jabberwocky who's now tangled in his own twisted cables, humming Twinkle Twinkle Little Frame Error. JJ the boss appears in a puff of static, revving his Impala. Moral of the story: if you ain't passing the token, you ain't in the party. Catch y'all next time in episode 3, Why Every Bass Needs a Griffin, aka your friendly neighborhood alarm manager. As the screen fades to black, we hear the White Rabbit yelling, I'm late. My set point's 8 degrees off. Cut to a BACnet timeout screen blinking wildly, the end. Or maybe the beginning of another timeout retry. Would you like episode 3, Why Every Bass Needs a Griffin next, or shall we enter the Queen's Fault Alarm Croquet Tournament? 2.2 Yes indeed. Hold onto your flamingos and adjust your oversized top hats, because now it's time for episode 3 of Alice's Bass Adventures in Wonderland. Alice's Bass Adventures in Wonderland episode 3, Why Every Bass Needs a Griffin, aka your friendly neighborhood alarm manager, plus the Queen's Fault Alarm Croquet Tournament intro. Smoke, sparks and screaming sensors. The air shimmered with static. Alice was trying to sip her tea, but the cup kept blinking red. Mad Hatter shrieked, tea overheated. Caterpillar's tail started smoking. The dormouse fainted under a pile of override requests. Alarm. Alarm. Everything is to everything. Suddenly crash. From the sky swooped the griffin, half eagle, half lion, all business. With talons made of Niagara tags and wings of real-time data trends, he landed like a precision-tuned PID loop. Who is the griffin? In Wonderland bass terms, the griffin is the alarm manager. He's the one who sorts the madness into priority stacks, alerts, and actions. Chiller fault. Top shelf. Motion sensor wiggle. Me bottom drawer. He knows Who triggered it when it happened, how long it's been losing its tiny mind, and who better call maintenance before the queen flips. What happens without the griffin? It's Queen of Hearts Croquet Tournament, Vault Edition. Every bad input, timeout, and override becomes a flamingo mallet, and the hedgehogs are fault alarms. The mock turtle is the goalpost constantly crying. The knave of hearts is getting blamed for alarms he didn't even cause. The Mad Hatter says his teapot is running hot due to thermal drift, whatever that means. Queen of Hearts, off with the sensor. All of them. Without the griffin, nobody knows what's real, what's noise, or what needs fixing before the valve explodes like a jam tart under pressure. What the griffin does best: he filters nonsense, prioritizes panic, sends alerts to the right guest, escalates if nothing gets done. Imagine if every time the March Hare dropped his teacup, a strobe light flashed and everyone screamed. The griffin says, ignore that one. Again. And send him decoff. Alarm myths from Wonderland Technical College. Myth 1, just alarm everything. JJ the boss, and let's also scream every time the toast pops up. It's efficient, until it ain't. Myth 2, someone will always check the alarm log eventually. White Rabbit, I'm late because I ignored page 73 of 472. Myth 3, alarms should always be loud. Queen of Hearts, I once got an email every time someone flushed. We had to burn the inbox. Proper bass alarm strategy, aka griffin whispering, group alarms into categories: life safety, equipment failure, curious oddities. Assign real humans to each one. Use event-based alerts, not OMG the temp changed 0.1 degree. Archive and trend data, don't just panic. End scene, croquet match meltdown. The croquet field becomes an alert storm, flamingos squawk every time a VOB box flutters. The Duchess yells Zone 3 is too humid, while spinning in circles. The playing cards paint the roses red, thinking it'll stop a filter fault. The griffin calmly perches atop the BACnet tree, sipping tea and muttering, send a ticket. Log the timestamp. Mark as queen rage imminent. JJ the boss revs the Impala from the sidelines, shouting, next time y'all ignore an alert, remember, the queen's coming, and she's got a cricket bat. Next episode teaser, episode 4, The Caterpillar's Guide to Set Points, Yo-oo. And stay tuned for the bonus training sim, March Hare vs Fault Alarms, a hysteresis horror story. The end. Or maybe just the start of an escalation. Want episode 4 next? Or ready to open the door labeled Eat Me and jump straight into Niagara nodes and the Cheshire Cat's tag database?